Hey, Cardinal fans, welcome back inside This Week in Ball State Sports. And in this episode, it's an alumni spotlight, yes, but it's a recent graduate. Ball State football's Keionte Newson joining us here on the podcast. I want to talk about what Keionte is up to right now, especially in preparations for the NFL draft. Keionte, really appreciate your time joining us and hope everything's been going well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me, and everything has been going well.
What has this process been like for you? You graduated a couple months, well, really last month, I guess. It's still January, but last month, what's it been like the last month and a half or so?
Soon as I went back home, I started working out, and I went and saw a couple of trainers, my personal trainer from my high school, and then I went to this trainer that is partnered with this company called X3, and they do like draft preparations, and I didn't decide to do my preparation there, but I did have a workout with him, and that was fun as well. But I'm back in Muncie. I'm working out with Coach Greenstone and his staff, and they got me a nice plan put together to get me ready for Pro Day, and I've been hitting that head on also while looking for a job as well.
That's really cool, the new coaching staff with Coach Greenstone embracing what you and others want to do in preparations for Pro Day and getting ready for the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Coach Greenstone and Coach U, especially Coach U. Coach U's been so supportive, and he lets me know every time that I see him. And I haven't seen him too much, and we've talked a little bit, but not just like a sit-down conversation. But every time I have a conversation with Coach U is let me know if you need anything, and I wish you had another year every time. And it's just like, all right, Coach, I know you got my back, and I'll help any way I can for sure. And then Coach Greenstone, he makes sure that I'm staying on track with the workout plan. And the stories that I'm hearing from these guys that I still hang out with from time to time about these workouts and these runs, that he's getting these guys together. So I'm excited to see what's going on in the future. That's
awesome. What's that like to have the support of the new coaching staff, even though you won't be on the team? And trust me, we wish you had another year too, Keionte, to come back and play Ball State football. But what's it like to have the support of that incoming staff that has your back too as you work for your next step?
It feels nice. It still feels like home with different faces in there. Like it's not weird when I go into the facility or the building and walk around. Like, they embrace me like I'm still on the team, and just like let me know like this is still your home. Whatever you need from us, like let us know, and we gonna help as to the best of our abilities. And they made sure that they like made that known to me early. Like soon as Coach U got hired, and I had my first conversation with him, he was like, "This is still your home. This is still your home," and I appreciate him for that for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's great to see the coaching staff continue to support. From your standpoint, Keionte, you mentioned the workouts and getting ready between now and Pro Day. What is this upcoming month-plus stretch going to look like for you?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to have another set of tests in here coming up for my 10-yard starts. And that's just really basically the start of the 40. And get all my timings down. Try to make all my times go down with preparation with the 5-10-5 shuttle and the L drill. Really just helping myself with changing direction, and then keeping up on position drills while also putting on weight as well. Trying to make myself look a little bigger, a little stout for the eye candy portion of it with the NFL scouts.
So there's a lot that goes into this process, right? It's not just workout. There's psychological things you have to go through. There's so much more than just what you may think of, I got to work out and just be in shape.
Oh, yeah, because at the end of the day, Ball State, it'll have, like, at the Pro Day, we won't have the numbers that the bigger schools like Ohio State and Michigan have, like 20, 30 guys. It'll probably be like 5 to 10 Ball State players and a couple guys from probably like UND or something like that come to work out. So, like, it's going to be faster paced. So being in shape will be, like, a key factor for me. And then just knowing that the opportunity itself might be a little different because of how everything went this past couple seasons. And then with my situation, exclusively being a smaller linebacker and everything. And like you said, like the psychological piece of it, like you have to be in a great mental state and a great physical state as well. But the mental state is going to help you get through all this hard training and all the bumps and bruises that you're still getting over, and then it's going to help you succeed on Pro Day as well, because if you're in a bad mental state and you're stressed out the whole time, you will not perform well.
You've been through hurdles throughout your career, Keionte, both high school, college, all that stuff, and the hurdles of the new routine have to probably be something that you're thinking about too. You graduate, you're done playing football at the collegiate level, and then you have to find a new routine. How has it been trying to fit into that new routine and make sure you're staying disciplined?
Oh, it's honestly so weird, just like, because I still get up pretty early, but getting up early and not having to like report to anything or like having to be in my seat at before the 7 a.m. team meeting. There's just like stuff like that. It's kind of weird, and I'm still kind of getting used to it as the days go by, and just like I have more time, so to say, just like using my time productively that I would usually be in a football facility, because usually it's like 6:30 to really probably about 12 during the season, 12 in the afternoon. Like you up there for 6 hours kind of straight.
Right.
That's your whole morning is taken care of by something. So just trying to find positive ways to utilize my time. It's been a little not difficult, but it has been a little strange.
And you have to take care of the dog too, right?
Oh yeah, she loves it because it's like, oh, I get to see you more. So now when I leave and I go work out for the 2 to 3 hours that I have to have, I'll come back and she's like, where have you been?
All right, for the audience, what kind of dog do you have?
They fly down the court and fly through the air.
Right to left, the shifty guard pulls up straight away, three, sinks it.
And we fly with the Cardinals.
Straight away, Trey lets it loose and buries it.
This is your home for Ball State Cardinals basketball.
Drives baseline left, he throws it off the window and it drops in.
All the action all season long is right here.
I have a pit bull terrier.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
Her name's Mocha. She's so beautiful. She has this brindle coat, and she's gorgeous. And she heard me call her name, so she might be Mocha.
She's breaking down doors. I'm partial to brindle coats. Our dog's a brindle coat too. Little Jack Russell Dachshund mix. So we're all about it.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of energy to deal with.
He's very energetic, and right now with the snow and the cold, he doesn't like being out in the cold. So he's like trying to run circles in our place, and he's bored. He's very bored.
Well, Mocha thinks she's a husky and that we should be outside all day long, and I just can't handle it. And then I like when I take her out and she realizes that she's not a husky, and it's like, okay, let's go back inside. It's like, oh, now you understand.
But more time with Keionte and Mocha because of the new routine. We like it.
Most definitely.
How have you kind of been able to find that discipline digging deep down? Because you don't have to be up now 7 o'clock. Because I think there's something to be said about having a regimen all the time, and then you go from that to this is on me now. This is completely on my schedule. I have to make this work.
Just really knowing the goal that I want to accomplish, like making it to the NFL and then staying in the NFL as well, it's not an easy task at all. And the route that I'm taking, being at school training and not having like a so to say, like ideal training situation and not having an agent and all that, like knowing what I'm trying to get done is what's driving me to just stay consistent. And then like I did all the hard stuff, to be honest. Like college was the hard workouts, hard practices. Right now, I'm doing the easy thing. Like all I'm doing is working out, and I don't have any, like I'm not working out and going to class. And it's just like things like that you have to take into perspective. And I haven't been thinking about the whole time. You're doing the easy part of it now. Now you just have to stay consistent with it. And everything that you've led up to this point has gotten you here. So why fall off of what you've all, like, just fall back to the base of your training. Like, just fall back to the base of your training is always what I think about. And so I kind of use, like, the same principles that I would have, like, on a football team in my day-to-day life, like, just to stay consistent with what I'm trying to get done.
How have you been able to lean on other people? You mentioned, Coach U and Coach Greenstone, but how have you been able to lean on other people outside of Ball State to help with this process?
Just like... it's been a couple, like a handful of people in my corner just like helping me and providing different things for me, like helping me with groceries and things like that, and presenting me with different like job opportunities, and just like being a open ear to when I'm having these, like, and I'm overwhelmed with my problems and everything. And I don't want to, I'll say a few names like Paul Whitehair and Jimmy Carroll, like some of those guys like that help with Ball State, they still help with me like I'm still a part of the program. And like that makes me feel like I did what I was supposed to do to bring like a magnitude of people around me that are willing to help. And then like I'm so grateful to have these people around me. And then I'm just want to say thank you to like whoever's listening and whoever's watching this. If you are helping me or like you putting in words behind closed doors, like I'm so appreciative of everything you're doing.
Keionte, how would you sum up your Ball State experience?
My Ball State experience, sum it up, man. I'm glad it went out. Not the season ended the way it did, but I'm glad I went out the way I did because I started on the incline my freshman year. I played as a freshman during the COVID year and had an opportunity to do something great. And after that, I took a decline and I had to learn a lot about myself, and I did. And being in those, like having those hurdles, like we talked about earlier, like having those hurdles in my life, and then having the group of coaches and the group of teammates that I had around me over my years. Like every year something was different, but every year brought me new experiences, new people, and new lessons to learn. And being able to be a leader in my last season and try my best to lead these guys to the best of my ability, knowing how the season was going and knowing like everything that happened with Coach New and just trying to stay me and stay positive. Like I'm just really grateful for the opportunity because really where I come from, it's not really that many opportunities to even make it out of the county that you live in simply because of like small mindsets and anything. Just like being in Ball State has opened my thought process, broadened my horizons in so many different ways, and everything I've learned, I'm just so grateful for. And just like the opportunities that I got to go to the Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame at Media Day and do all that fun stuff, like just doing things that I never thought I'd be able to do in my life. Like I don't even know how to sum it up and just like it was cool or just like it was awesome. Like I'm just extremely grateful for all the opportunities that I've been presented with.
I know we had talked about it, I think, one of the first 2 weeks on our radio pregame show, you and I, about you being a tough Cardinal. And it was a discussion throughout the course of the year. Now that you're done with that role as a physical player on the roster, how do you look back on this past year of being able to have that role?
Oh, my goodness. That was like a dream come true within getting to Ball State, because when I got there, I knew exactly what that's like, what I wanted to do if I was going to stay the whole time, and I did. So every true Cardinal, tough Cardinal, I texted and Bryce, Clayton, Brandon, I'm trying to get as many opportunities to learn from these guys as I can, and it's like the whole time that I was coming up through Ball State, I had been around these guys. I was in a room with B. Mark, Clayton, position room. I hung out with Bryce my freshman year, and up until he left, he's still role model in my life, and we in a couple group chats still. And it's I've been around him the whole time, and it's to finally be in that position and to have my spot in the locker room and just have that number one sticker on the back of my head. It's you accomplished something in your life. I was a captain of a Division I football team.
That's a big deal. No, that's a huge deal. That's maybe 0.01% of people ever get to say that they did that. That's an accomplishment of the highest of magnitudes at the Division I level.
And it's just just knowing what it was and knowing who's had these positions is just it makes you want to strive for a little bit more too as well. Just the whole little driving factor, and I was so grateful to get that done, and it was something that I had to get done by any means necessary.
Oh, I love it, Key. I love it. Before we let you go here, Keionte, on This Week in Ball State Sports, is there anything else you want to share with Ball State fans about where you're at right now, what the journey's like, how the preparation process, maybe anything we missed that you'd like to share with Ball State fans?
Oh, well, as I stated previously, I'm still working out, and Mocha's in here drinking all her water.
Bring her on camera. The fans want her on camera.
Oh.
See, look, that's it. That's it. We're almost 15 minutes in, and this is what the people have been waiting for.
Yeah.
I love it.
Another camera time.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I'm hanging out with Mocha. I've been in a new relationship with a girl. That's been going great and working out consistently. I'm gaining weight and I'm feeling good about the process. And I know that the opportunity, when it comes, that I'm going to make the most of it. So I'm just really excited about everything that's coming forward.
well, Keionte, we really appreciate your time here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Mocha, thank you for your appearance as well. We can hear you back there drinking the water. And Key, best of luck, man. The rest of the process of Pro Day and NFL Draft and everything that comes after that. We appreciate you and best of luck.
Okay, thank you so much, and I appreciate you for having me on.
They fly down the court and fly through the air.
Right to left, the shifty guard pulls up straight away, three, sinks it.
And we fly with the Cardinals.
Straight away, Trey lets it loose and buries it.
This is your home for Ball State Cardinals basketball.
Drives baseline left, he throws it off the window and it drops in.
All the action all season long is right here.
Hey, Cardinal fans, welcome back inside This Week in Ball State Sports. And our next guest is from Ball State Women's Swimming and Diving, Payton Kelly. Payton, thanks for joining us here on the show.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
Payton, we were just talking about it right before we jumped on the show. This cold that's happening in Muncie really isn't a phase to you, right? Being from Canada, this is no problem?
Well, no, my friends have asked to borrow mittens, and I'm like, it's not cold enough for those yet.
When does it become cold enough for those?
Well, I work in Celsius, so right now it's about like minus 20 Celsius, and I mean, I can get up to like minus 30, minus 40 with the wind chill back home, so it's just a normal winter. Put your hands in your pockets.
I love it. I love it. Our director of athletics, Jeff Mitchell, would love to have this conversation with you. Him being from Mississippi, this would be good. Maybe we should have had him on the podcast segment as well to talk about this. Payton, that's so funny. Payton, being from Canada, what kind of enticed you to come to Ball State and be a part of the program?
Athletics as a whole are very different in Canada at a collegiate level. The racing just kind of works different, and there's less importance on like student athletes in universities where I come from. And ever since I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna make it out. I'm gonna go to the States for university. I want to do my sport down there. Like, I set in stone that's where I wanted to be. And my mom was like bracing me for opening day of recruiting. She's like, oh, yeah, okay, like, let's see what happens. And I'm like, mom, like 30 schools reached out and I've answered all these emails and I'm like setting up these calls. And she was shocked. She's like, they want you? And I was like, I'm cooler than you think. So then I went through about a month of recruiting. I talked to a lot of people. I was like, nah, okay, like whatever. Going on. And then I get a text and it's like, hey, this is Coach Jay from Ball State University. I'd love to set up a call sometime. And I was like, I'm talking to like Big Ten, like I'm talking to the Ivies. I was like, okay, I'll call Coach Jay. And I probably spent 45 minutes on the phone with Coach Jay talking about what drove me in swimming and what my deeper goals and aspirations were, and like everything that motivated me in swimming to become a better swimmer. And once we kind of had that conversation, it never turned back. He was someone that always understood how to motivate me, what drove me, and how to kind of bring me back up when I felt from like didn't have a high motivation. And he was one of the only coaches that really cared about me like that. And then I think it really solidified it when he had a FaceTime call with just my parents, and he assured them that as college-age daughters, and that even though I'm far from home, I'll be taken care of. Just like, you know, at the end of the day, we're people and daughters and students first. I'm not just an athlete that he'll push, you know, super hard. And once my parents heard that, they're like, yeah, sure, we'll send you as far as you need to go. So
that's an awesome story, especially with the amount of schools that were reaching out to you that had interest in bringing you on as a student athlete. But like you said, the connection of Coach Jay and being able to see you more than just an athlete, that's an awesome story. Were you able to tour campus before you committed, or were you like, no, I'm just going to go?
So I did all of my recruiting during COVID, so there was no official visits allowed. And they sent me like drone videos of campus, and I made like everyone and anyone watch this video. I was like, no, look, like this is where I'm going to go to college. And one day I was sitting in like the parking lot of my high school, and I had a phone call with Coach Jay, and he asked if I'd kind of verbally commit without seeing it, and I was like, yeah, like I'm going to be a Cardinal. I'm all in. Like if you're there, I'm sure it can't be that bad. So I committed, and then September of my senior year, I was able to come out for a weekend. All the girls on my trip basically had already committed. I almost live with them all now. So it was kind of fun to, instead of being like, oh, is she going to go to school here? It was like, oh, we're going here. These are friends I'm going to have. We can chit chat and talk over the year. And it was really awesome to meet everyone in person there. And then we all talked, kind of the boys and girls in my class, and got really close as a group. So by the time we moved in to the dorms, it was like, oh yeah, these are my people. These are my friends. So it worked out for the best.
And how would you describe what your experience here at Ball State's been like?
It's been incredible. Like I didn't know how much I could grow as a person and as an athlete until I got here. I had very one-way thinking about swimming when I came in, just on how my club coach kind of taught me, and like he kind of brought me up with like a senior level group. So even though I was kind of 14, 15, I was being treated like I was 18, 19, because that's the group that I was training with. So when I came in, I was like, okay, I have the maturity to do fine on my own, but Jay still fostered those like friendships, and there's times where it's just like, yeah, we can be silly, we can like goof around and still work really hard. So Jay really taught me, and all my friends and my teammates just taught me how to love swimming in such a different way that isn't how I loved it in high school. And I think I've just appreciated swimming more than I ever have through my years here at Ball State.
I love that. That's such a unique perspective. And when you talk about you see it a different way, how do you think that that's helped your experience overall in college?
I think it's just I've become more confident in myself. I can go into like a new team or racing or into any scenario, and I've been given all the tools, so I can be like, I can get up and I could win this event, or I could like make that final, or I can do something. When before I was like, oh, well, I race these people all my life, and I know that that's how they're going to swim, and I'm going to have to do this and do that. When I got here, I'm like, I know nobody knows me. I'm going to show them what I can do. And I just had more confidence in myself.
Where's your favorite spot on campus? Outside of the pool.
Outside of the pool, it's going to be like my hidden gem. So, I do all my classes in the rec, but then when I'm studying, like the library gets really full, especially during like busy times of year. The architecture building is one of my hidden gems. It has so many windows, so you get so much light. You can get a good view of the bell tower, or you can still view the rec or Worthing Arena. And usually like the classrooms are open, and all the extra architecture students are in there like building things and like in their libraries, but there's so many spots in that building that you can just like hunker down and study or use a whiteboard or anything. So me and my roommates really cherish that spot.
It's a great spot. It's one of the best spots on campus. I totally agree with you. What do you want to do with your career post-graduation? I know there's still time to think about it, but...
I'm actually farther ahead. I really thought about it. I'm going to try and go back home and use some of my eligibility in Canada and have swim through my master's for a little bit, and then get my master's in occupational therapy.
Awesome.
And I'm still looking at schools up there. But
what's it like balancing what you're doing now with what you want to do after your Ball State swim career?
Don't really know yet. I have it really good here. There's so much help with academic advisors and just like coaches and everyone. So it's going to be weird going somewhere with all of this experience under my belt, but still being like new in grad school. So I'm definitely going to miss it here, and I'm going to have to work a lot more independently as a student athlete back home, but it'll just be different. I don't know what to expect, but I know I've got a good foundation and good tools I built here to help me out. So,
Payton, what's this year been like for the Ball State Women's Swim and Dive program?
It's been an interesting year. We had a lot of freshmen come in, one of the biggest classes we've had. And they came in ready to like fight and work super hard, and all of them have such a great work ethic. And then around October, November, we kind of all got a little bit sick. Something was just going around, all over. So a lot of us have had to jump up and swim things that we don't normally swim, or kind of pick up, not the slack, but just help out our teammates. And now that everyone's healthy and we're ready to go for MAC, I just think we're ready to thrive and ready to let our hard work show. I say it like that.
You mentioned ready to let the hard work show out. 2 more to go before Max. You finished up against Bowling Green with the win last time out. 2 more to go. What was that like against Bowling Green to pick up that win?
The last time we raced them, it was my freshman year, but I wasn't here. I was competing at the World Cup for Canada, and we lost. And I was like, wasn't there last time. Don't know what happened last time, but we're not going to let that happen again. So we rallied up the girls. We were like, let's show them how we do it. Like, because we beat them at MAC that year. Like, we shouldn't have let them beat us in the dual meet my freshman year. So I was like, come on, guys. Like, we got to fight hard. We were tired. We worked so hard. We had a killer practice the night before we went to that dual meet, or they came here. And I was just like, no matter how tired we are, we have to show that we can fight harder than them. And I think that's what we did. So we just got to keep that mentality moving forward. Akron always does great in the MAC. They're going to be a great dual meet. Indiana State, I know a lot of us are looking for some redemption swims there. So it's just, we're going to have to fight really hard because we're really tired, but it'll make the taper and the rest that much better.
That'll be an exciting last 2 to go before Max, Payton. You mentioned the World Cup. What was that experience like for you to be a part of that?
That was the coolest swim meet of my life. Everyone I had ever admired basically was there. And I got to represent like the Maple Leaf. It was so cool. Like, I'm sitting in the ready room and they're like putting duct tape on like my Gatorade water bottle and my headphones because I couldn't have any logos on TV. And I'm sitting next to like Katie Ledecky, one of the greatest in the sport. And I'm just like, I'm a foot away from someone I saw on TV that got me into swimming that like I've looked up to my whole life. And now I'm right beside her. Like, it was the coolest thing ever. And we swam the 200 free together in prelims. And she's walking away. She like won the heat. She did great. I am like huffing and puffing. I was like, Katie, you are my favorite ever. Like, I just look up to you so much. And she's like, thanks. So like, how's your swim? And I was like, oh, she's not even out of breath. I was like, perfect. But it just gave me a glimpse into something that I've always dreamed of. And I was like, I'm so much closer than I think I am. Like, so I keep my like identification card that they gave us for that dual meet at the back of my swim locker. Cause it's just like a reminder that I'm like 1 foot in the door. I can get there. I can fight hard. There's people that know my name.
That's awesome.
So it was legitimate. And then I saw her swim a world record that night too. And I was like, this is just the coolest thing I've ever done.
Right, you're in person to witness the greatness.
Yes, that was I think my 3rd world record I've seen in person for swimming, which was really cool.
Wow, that's absolutely iconic. Payton, with that opportunity at the World Cup, seeing Katie Ledecky, seeing somebody that you looked up to, how has that challenged you to continue to evolve as a swimmer and to continue to get better?
It really made me realize that this doesn't all end when I graduate next year. Like, I'm finding ways that I can go, swim a little bit extra in my master's degree, see what swimming pro looks like. It shows me that I'm now just getting like into like a peak time in my life, and that it would be a shame if I just like wiped my hands clean when I was done here. So it really just showed me that there's so much more I want to do, and that it doesn't all stop when I graduate.
Awesome. Well, Payton, before we let you go here on This Week in Ball State Sports, is there anything else you think Ball State fans would find interesting about who you are as a person, as a swimmer, or anything about your story?
Oh, that the Ball State swim and dive meets are so much cooler than you think they are. We got to come out. There's close races. Like this last weekend against Bowling Green, we were tied going into the last 100, and like we won it out in the end. We're a really cool group of people. I would encourage you all to get out to more swim meets at the Llewellyn and cheer us on, because it's truly an awesome environment.
Ditto. Absolutely. Check out the schedule for all future meets. Of course, they don't have any more at home, but there are road trips that you can take, and then MACs are coming up as well. So make sure for next year to look at the home schedule and get to Llewellyn and cheer on your Ball State Cardinals. Well, Payton, really appreciate you joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Best of luck the rest of the year. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.
They fly down the court and fly through the air.
Right to left, the shifty guard pulls up straight away, three, sinks it.
And we fly with the Cardinals.
Straight away, Trey lets it loose and buries it.
This is your home for Ball State Cardinals basketball.
Drives baseline left, he throws it off the window and it drops in.
All the action all season long is right here.
Hey, Cardinal fans, welcome back inside This Week in Ball State Sports, and we have an alumni spotlight featuring Ball State baseball alum Alex Gall, Major League Baseball player with the Washington Nationals, 2016 Mid-American Conference Player of the Year, All-American as well. We can go on and on, Alex, but we won't rehash that and embarrass you too much here on the podcast. But Alex, appreciate you joining us. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be on.
So you've been able to be in the major leagues, the minor leagues for several years now after graduating from Ball State. Like, just a very broad question, like, how would you describe what this journey's been like so far?
Well, it's certainly been a roller coaster, but it's been a good one. And it's something I've always wanted to do, something I believe God's put on my heart and given the opportunity to do something that I love and have an impact where I'm at. And it's not always easy, but when you have your goals in mind and you believe that you can do it, you believe in yourself, you believe that if you just get an opportunity, you can make it happen, then when it finally comes to the culmination point of making it and, making another day and making another day and making another day, it's really gratifying. And there's so many people in my life that have helped me to get to this point. I'm just really grateful.
Alex, when you sit back and look at the last couple of years, spending time in Major League Baseball, I think one of the moments that I always remember from last year is the walk-off hit against the Angels. You've worked, your entire life to get to moments like that. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it was a fun one. Last year was, a bit of a up and down season. I had some really big time struggles and actually asked God to kind of give me something new with my swing, give me a new approach, give me a new swing thought so that I don't have to keep going back to these old videos. And, he came through, he gave me something new literally that night, and went into the games the next day and the next weeks and month, and ended up having an amazing month and getting called up at the trade deadline, and then having one of the best stretches of my whole career in the big leagues. And one of those moments was that walk-off hit off of Ben Joyce throwing 100 whatever miles an hour. And, it was really just an amazing experience to be able to come and help the team out and, get a W. So it was a really fun moment.
When you look back at some of those moments, Alex, I know you talk about the ups and the downs. You mentioned, asking God for that retool of the swinger. Hey, give me something new. How do you? I know Coach Maloney helped with this at Ball State. I know with players every single day of staying the course. That was always one of his, his mantras. How have you been able to kind of do that throughout the course of your career post Ball State to make sure that you're always ready?
Yeah, staying the course is huge. Staying level-headed, focused on your goals and your dreams, and then really not putting too much pressure on yourself, though, as well. And ultimately coming back to my faith and just trusting that God has a plan for me. He's got a purpose for me. And while I love to play this game and I want to play as long as I can, whatever he has in the cards for me is what he has. And I can be at peace with that, which actually allows me to play at my best, which is it's kind of funny in that regard. When you surrender it and you give it away and say, hey, whatever you want, God, it actually allows you to play at your best, where you don't feel the pressure of trying to perform because I got to stay in the big leagues. I got to stay playing baseball. I got to hold on to this thing. No, you can actually let go and perform your best in that regard.
How did Ball State prepare you for the grind and the life of Major League Baseball?
Well, we had an amazing group of guys. Coach Maloney was an amazing coach as well. I had so much fun at Ball State. I had so much, gratitude being a part of the teams that I was on, having the opportunity to have relationships with the guys on the team, and really just forging you into the type of person that you are: a competitor, a hard worker, disciplined. Those are all things that I had learned throughout my time in baseball, my time at Ball State. Just to continue to get better each day, one step at a time. Believe in yourself. You got to believe, like Coach Maloney always says. You got to believe, and that's the start of it. So all of those tools, all those principles, all the guys coming together to push you to get better for yourself, but also for the team, that all started at Ball State and, carried that into every day.
Let's go back into the memory bank a little bit. There's a few that stick out to me that I know during your career that we could point to, but when you look back, what are some of your favorite moments as a Ball State Cardinal?
Well, certainly dogpiling in 2014 as MAC champs at NIU. That was really, we just had such a special team. Those seniors were just so instrumental in my experience and the enjoyment of it, that it was great to kind of send them off with a MAC championship. So that one always comes to the front of the brain. But there were certainly some crazy games, beating LSU on Friday night. I remember a 15-12 game in the snow and sleet and hail against Ohio. So there's tons of moments in games, but it's really just the everyday camaraderie with the guys that you remember the most.
Would it really be MAC baseball without a snow game in your career? At least one.
There were 60-mile-an-hour winds going on too. It was literally crazy. I mean, I can't believe we were playing, but we didn't win, and we ended up coming out on top.
Have you been in a game wilder than that weather-wise since?
I don't think I've had any, crazier game than that, and I don't think I ever will, because, I like to tell people whenever I tell this story that I actually wore my sunglasses during that game in the outfield, because it was basically just protecting for my eyes, because I was looking up at fly balls or whatever, and I was getting pelted in the eye by hail, sleet, whatever it was, but you had to figure out a way to catch the ball. So it was actually, the sunglasses were protective from the sleet versus protected from the sun. So definitely never going to have a game like that again. Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. I wonder, because in those moments, it's still dark outside. So how, did you have sunglasses that were lighter, or were they still dark?
Yeah, I mean, the sky was gray, and it was the middle of the day, so it was still gray, but they weren't super shaded so that I could still see. Did the best I could. I don't think I had a whole lot of fly balls to me, but if I did, it was going to be a rough day because the wind was blowing at crazy miles an hour and all the other elements. So, and the ball was flying straight out.
Of course.
If it was a fly ball, it was probably going to be a home run. It was 15-13 or whatever. Crazy game.
So you didn't need the sunglasses to see anyway. You just needed to be protected. The ball was going over the fence regardless.
Basically, yeah. Basically.
Alex, you're headed to much warmer temperatures coming up here for spring training in the matter of weeks. What's the preparation like between now and then for the next couple weeks?
Yeah, just staying focused, staying regimented in my routines and my off-season program, working out, sprinting, hitting, throwing, covering it all, and making sure that I'm in the best shape that I can be to help our team, win and be a great teammate. So just kind of packing up here and getting things ready to go, get down to Florida and enjoy spring training.
And you've got a family to take with you, right?
Certainly do. Yeah, I got a 15-month-old son, and love being a dad. Just playing around with him and understanding that's my only responsibility is to make sure he's all good, and just trying to really cherish these times because everybody always says it goes fast. I know it'll go fast, so I'm just trying to soak up every moment that I can.
Is playing Major League Baseball different now as a dad than it was before being a dad?
It's about the same. The only motivation I'd say is that I've seen my other teammates bring their sons into the clubhouse and get to play on the field and in the cages or whatever. And I'm like, man, all right, I gotta play long enough to where my son can actually remember hanging out with daddy in the clubhouse or on the field, because everybody wants to go play on the field and hang out with the major leaguers, and my son gets the opportunity to do that. So that's my motivation now, is to just play long enough for him to actually have some tangible memories of hanging out with daddy.
That's awesome. No, I love it, especially when you talk about everybody else bringing their kids around and wanting to have that for your son too. That's fantastic. Will he be around at spring training, or will he spend most of the time at the beach when that time comes up?
Yeah, we're gonna we found a nice spot where we can be pretty close to the beach, so he's probably gonna be at the beach a decent amount, but hopefully he can. He might be at the age where he might be able to recognize me on the field and at least point out, oh, there's daddy. So my wife, if you can get that on video, that would be a great memory for me. But we're going to have fun at the beach. We're going to have fun playing some ball, and I got a little bat in his hands, and
all right,
he's throwing the ball a little bit. He's kind of acting like a left-hander. So we'll see what happens with that, but lots of fun ahead.
Hey, as well as I do, left-handed pitchers are always needed all the time.
I know, but hey, I don't know if I mean, left-handed pitcher is great, but if you're going to be left-handed, you can't be shortstop, can't be third base, can't be second base, can't be catcher.
That's true.
Basically, first base, outfield, pitcher. So, we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
That's hilarious. Alex Call joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Alex, when we look into what 2025 brings, what are some of the small things that you've been working on to expand your game and try to make 2025 the best year yet?
Yeah, it's a good question. Really just continuing to mature and understand the game, play the game with a confidence and a peace as well. I feel really at peace with my swing, with some of the things that I was able to do at the end of last year, and then carry that into the off season. Just trying to get better each day and continue to understand who I am as a player, understand how I'm going to help the team best. And, that's really what I'm focused on. Always want to get bigger, faster, stronger, but the focus is really just making sure that I'm durable, healthy, ready to play every day, being a great teammate, and trying to get 1% better each time.
Outside of the walk-off against the Angels that we talked about, what are some of your favorite memories at the major league level? Yeah,
so one of my other favorite memories is when I hit the walk-off home run against the Cubs in 2023. I had never had a walk-off home run at any level. It's something that I always had wanted to do, always dreamed about. And I knew it would come probably at some point, but at the same time, the situation's got to be right, and then you got to deliver in that moment. And so I was leading off the bottom of the ninth against the Cubs at home. First pitch off Brad Boxberger, and put it into the seats, and it was just down the line enough to where I could kind of just freely watch it, or I wasn't trying to show the pitcher up or anything, but just kind of got to hop and watched it all the way, and around and just yelled at my teammates, and they were yelling at me, and it was just surreal, jogging around the bases, screaming, so excited, because I truly pictured that moment tons of times, and still do, and just coming at home plate with everybody around and just welcoming the Gatorade bath. It's a lot of people like to run away from it. I kind of like to stand there in recognition that if you get a Gatorade bath, you did something great, and so just kind of enjoy the cold shower of Gatorade. So that was certainly at the top of my list. I guess the other one would be my first home run was actually off of Josh Hader.
Now that's a guy to have a home run off of for your first one.
So that was kind of crazy in itself. And that one is definitely one I'll never forget as well. That was kind of a surreal moment. Just drove a fastball away into left center, and I didn't crush it or kill it. It went right in the first row, but it's a home run, and it helped our team win, and we only had a 1-run lead at that point, so it gave us a 3-run lead, and it was a fun time. So, and there's tons of great memories. Had a 4-for-5 game against the Cardinals. That was kind of right when I got called up, and I was just brand new to the league, and I looked up and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I can really do this. I mean, because you always believe in yourself, but until you have some of that validation to back it up, that's when it really starts to become really real, and you start to build that confidence on top of what your own belief in yourself is.
I always loved the catching the ball, running, crashing into the wall. Was that last year? Or was that 2 years ago? Last year?
There's been a few. Depending on which one you're talking about. 'Cause there's been a few each year, I think. I had one really bad one last year where I kind of banged up my sternum running full speed into the wall. But then I had a really cool one against the Braves where I caught it, and it was very graceful into the wall, and kind of just like there's an image of me just kind of plastered on the wall for a second.
Yes.
And so some really cool ones like that. It's always fun to make those kind of catches and help out our team.
Oh, Alex, it's been a pleasure having you on This Week in Ball State Sports. Is there anything else you'd like to share with Ball State fans before we let you go about either your journey, your time at Ball State, family, anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I just, want to shout out Ball State and how special the experience it was for me. I had lifelong friends, met my wife, got to play Division I baseball, and, Ball State provided so many friendships and relationships that I still carry to this day. And, I'm just grateful for all the memories and opportunities that I had there. Ball State was my only offer coming out of high school. And, here I am in the major leagues. And, just want to encourage everybody to go after their dreams and, have fun every day and trust in the plan that God has for you, and really surrender it into His hands, and He'll take care of you. So just grateful for Ball State and all that it gave to me.
Beautifully said, Alex. Really appreciate your time here on the podcast, and best of luck this year. Can't wait to see what you do.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Thanks for listening to This Week in Ball State Sports, presented by Gamebridge. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Gamebridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network.